That's a very nasty cough you've got there, Toby.
It's not a cough. I'm going because I want you to stop writing and listen to me.
Not now, Toby. I'm busy. All right, what is it?
Did they manage to save the city of Zorn?
Who?
Iron and Sandella. You remember? We heard the story last time. At least we heard half the story. They were going to plant some magic seeds that would grow into silver trees and keep the fire dragons away from Zorn.
Yes?
Well, did they manage it? I can't wait to find out. You said we'd find out next time, and it's next time now. So I think we ought to...
All right. I can see I'm not going to get any peace until we find out how the story ended.
That's right. No peace at all.
Yes, very well. Let's go over to the puddle and find out what happened. It's gone.
What's the matter?
It's gone, I tell you, it's gone! Somebody's pinched my puddle!
Oh, don't be silly. Nobody would take your puddle?
Well, they have, look. This is where it's supposed to be, this is where it's always been, but it's not here now.
Oh, look. There's a gap in the floorboards there. All the water must have gone down the hole. Nobody's taken your puddle, it's just trickled away.
What am I going to do? My puddle, my precious puddle. How can I look into Puddle Lane? How can I find out what's happening in Zorn? I'm ruined. What use is a magician without a magic puddle? Oh, people laugh at me.
Oh, what's all this noise? Hello, magician. Hello, Toby.
Hello?
It's gone, Auntie Flo. Gone.
What has?
His puddle. It's trickled away through the floorboards.
Oh, I see. Well, that'll make things a lot tidier, won't it?
Tidier? But it's my puddle, my beautiful magic puddle. I need my puddle. I love my puddle. I don't know what I'm going to do without it. Oh, it's just not fair.
This fuss over a puddle, magician. I'm ashamed of you. You're behaving like a great big baby.
I'm not.
Yes, you are. Just look at you.
No, I'm not.
Oh, temper, temper. I think you ought to sing your calming down song.
Mm-hmm. Calming down song?
Yes, it's something the magician made up when he was quite small.
Oh.
You remember, magician?
Yes.
Then don't you think you ought to sing it?
I suppose so. Music. Whenever I'm feeling angry, whenever I'm feeling wild, there's something that I've always done since I was a child. I take a breath. I count to 3, 1, 2, 3. I'll laugh like this, ha ha ha, and then you see, my temper's gone away, and everything's okay. Whenever I feel like stamping, whenever I want to shout, there's something that I always do to let my anger out. I take a breath. I count to 3, 1, 2, 3. I'll laugh like this, ha ha ha, and then you see, my temper's gone away, and everything's okay. Whenever I feel like stamping, whenever I want to shout, there's something that I always do to let my anger out. I take a breath. I count to 3, 1, 2, 3. I laugh like this, ha ha ha, and then you see, my temper's gone away. My temper's gone away, and everything's okay. Oh, it's not fair! I want my puddle back!
Magician, if you want your puddler back so badly, why don't you just cast a spell to bring it back?
Brilliant, Auntie Flo. Of course! We'll do it now!
But just a minute, I thought we were going to find out how Iron and Sandella got on in Zorn.
Oh, we can do that later. In any case, how can we find out what happened if we haven't got a puddle to look in?
We could look in the bird bath.
All right then, everybody down to the bird bath. Now, where did we end the story last time, Toby?
Well, a fire dragon was going to attack the city of Zorn, and Iron and Sandella had some magic silver seeds that would grow into trees.
Oh, I remember now. And if the fire dragon touched the trees, he would turn to stone.
That's right. And Iron and Sandella had gone up in the mountains with the seeds, ready to plant them.
So now, shall we see what happened?
The moon had risen over the mountains in the magical country of Zorn. As Iron and Sandella watched, the silver seeds began to grow. Suddenly, they heard a corn calling just behind them. "You're too late! The fire dragon is here! Quick, this way!" They turned and scrambled up towards a rocky ledge, just as the fire dragon crawled over the rocks on the far side of the path between the cliffs. "Quick!" cried the corn, as Sandella clambered along the ledge. "Quick! Throw the rocks down on his head!" The fire dragon roared again. A long flame of fire shot up towards them. "Quick!" cried the corn again. The fire dragon was trying to climb the cliff. "Help me with this!" cried Iron, pushing a big rock which lay on the ledge. Sandella flung herself at the rock, and they both pushed as hard as they could. The rock tipped over the edge and crashed down on the dragon's head. It knocked him back to the ground. "This way!" cried the corn. "The silver trees are growing! This way! We must get back to the path behind them!" The silver trees had already grown tall in the moonlight. Sandella and Iron scrambled down the cliff after the corn as the fire dragon shook its head and began to move again. By the time the fire dragon had recovered, Iron and Sandella were safe behind the silver trees. The fire dragon lifted itself up and gave one last roar of rage. Then it turned and went back the way it had come. "I shall leave you now," called the swan, flying over their heads. "I must go back to the magician." "Goodbye, Swan," called Iron. "Goodbye," cried Sandella. They watched the swan fly away until she was out of sight. When they looked around, they found that the corn had gone too. They sat down on a stone ledge. "I'm too tired to go home tonight," said Sandella. "So am I," said Iron, "but it will be cold in the mountains. We ought to try to climb down." At that moment they heard someone calling. "Iron! Sandella! Are you safe?" They looked down and saw Alana carrying a lantern coming up the path with friends from the city of Zorn. "We shall be safe enough now," said Iron, and they climbed down to meet Alana.
So they managed to turn back the dragon after all. Good for them.
Yes, wasn't it exciting? And the city of Zorn was saved.
Yes. Now can we all go and cast that spell to bring back my puddle?
Not so fast. We haven't looked through the story yet.
Toby's right.
Oh, very well. Let's see. Yes. That's all right. It's all there. Good. Right, time for the spell.
Oh, now, magician, if we're going to check the story, we ought to do it properly.
Yes, if a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well.
All right, then. Now, the first thing Sandella had to do was to make some holes in the ground to put the seeds in. And she made those with
a sharp stone.
Good. Now, they just planted the very last seed when they heard a cry. They looked up and they saw a creature. Can you remember what the creature was called?
It began with an unusual sound, didn't it?
Yes, that's right. It began with a quaff.
A quern. A quorn! A quorn from Zorn!
Well done. Well, the corn told them that the fire dragon was... So they climbed up the cliff so that he couldn't catch them.
Yes, they threw things at him to keep him away.
And at last they saw something growing.
A row of little silver trees. And since the fire dragon didn't dare to touch the trees, he turned back, and Zorn was saved.
Yes, and the title of this story is The Fight with the Fire Dragon. Spell time at last.
All right, magician.
Right, a spell to bring back my puddle.
Hey, just a minute. Wait for me.
There's no time to waste, Toby. I've got to have my puddle back.
Oh dear, has someone taken your puddle, magician? What a shame.
This is no time for jokes, Barrel. My puddle's trickled away and I've got to have a new one.
Can't you wait until it rains? There'll be lots of puddles around then.
No, I can't wait for that. I want a puddle now.
Oh, come on, let's get on with the spell. What do we need first?
A colour. And since we're making a spell to make a puddle, we need a colour beginning with P for puddle.
Purple.
Oh,
Hmm.
and I've got just the thing here, look. A purple plum.
Well done, Aunt Flo.
Thank you, Auntie Flo. And puddles are wet, aren't they? So we must have something wet in the spell.
Something like a drink, perhaps, eh, Barrel?
Why, Toby, that's a wonderful idea. Tea with milk and no sugar, please.
Very well, Barrel. Here you are.
There's sugar in this.
Oh, well, never mind that, Barrel. At least it's wet. Now, what about the magic tune?
What about it?
Well, how does it go?
Do you know? I don't think I can remember. It's strange, but whenever someone gives me tea with sugar in it, I often forget things.
Please don't tease me now, Barrel. I'm sorry about the sugar. Really, I am.
Very well, then. If you're sorry,
Yes?
the tune goes... Boom, 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 boom.
Thank you, Barrel. Right, everybody.
Pom, 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 pom. And now let's have the magic clap, magician.
Right, Toby. And finally, the magic spell. Puddle, muddle, muddle, puddle. I'm as sad as I can be. Muddle, puddle, puddle, muddle. Bring my puddle back to me.
He's got his paddle back.
Yes. He doesn't seem too happy about it, though, does he?
It's an enormous puddle, Toby.
It's much bigger than it was in the room.
It went wrong, magician.
Maybe we can have a story now.